Assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush aamdeed, ji aya nu goeiemorgen.
Pakhairagale, ni hao, junashumme, washmale, ohaya gazaimis, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifahal, hala shama chatore, ahlan wasalan marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, ishpata, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and are watching World this morning alongside the very stunning, the very fabulous, the very amazing Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hello, Shiza, how are you today?
I am doing absolutely great, and for a moment I thought you were probably going to say Shahzad Khan, but thank you for these kind words.
No problem at all. So how was your morning?
My morning was great because, of course, I started with coffee and a perfect playlist. And ladies and gentlemen, for all of those living outside Islamabad, Islamabad is so beautiful right now. It's raining, there are clouds all over. It's just perfect to be here, alhamdulillah.
Exactly, indeed, that's how it is. But, I feel otherwise, and
Okay.
it's because of the fact that, even I think a week earlier it was raining and then it has been raining for like 2 days now in a row.
Right.
So when it rains like for a longer period, I just do not feel comfortable enough,
Okay.
It's just like, you get nostalgic about England as well, whenever you travel to England, most of the time it's raining over there. So I want the sun to be out there as well because I so want to ride my bike. And,
Oh, perfect. That makes
So you
sense.
cannot do that in rain. So ladies and gentlemen, for everybody who's out there, if you love rain, I think this is probably the best time to have pakoras and samosas and gurwali chai and whatnot to make sure that it's time to rise and shine, wake and bake, get up because we've got some very amazing guests over here in the studio. But first, let's take a look what the weather tells us.
So to start with the weather updates, fresh spell of widespread rain is predicted in most parts of the country, and snowfall over the hills. Snowfall over hills expected in Malakan divisions, Swat, Chitral, Kalam, Malam Jabba, Upper Deel, Quetta division, Murree, Galyat, Kashmir, and Gilgit-Baltistan.
But Shiza, at the same time, snowfall continues in Hanshi area of Gilgit-Baltistan, disrupting life as severe cold has gripped the entire area.
Oh,
Several link roads have been blocked and commuters are facing difficulties. People have been confined to their houses after heavy snowfall. But talking about today's lowest and maximum temperatures, ladies and gentlemen, Skardu is minus 19 degrees centigrade.
Oh dear God.
Astor is minus 16 degrees centigrade. Gupis is minus 12 degrees centigrade. And Hunza is minus 6 degrees centigrade.
Whoa, just look
so
at
for
that.
people who are actually living within these areas, we probably assume that you know that you really need to keep yourselves warm. But for people who are actually going to travel to these areas, please make sure that you have your proper gear and wear thermals, wear 3-4 layers, and I think that you'll be good to go.
Absolutely.
What about you? Do you like snow?
I love snow. There's probably just very few times that I've actually experienced and witnessed snowfall in real life.
Really?
But I've seen fallen snow, but not snowfall. There's a difference.
Yeah, there is a difference.
So I absolutely do love it. It's so mesmerizing. I cannot wait to actually see it again.
But I don't know. I think I feel very uncomfortable around snow as well. Because
You're
it's too
uncomfortable
cold.
around rain and now snow.
Yeah, it's because of the fact that, for 5 minutes if you get off the car, you wanted to take some pictures, that's good.
Yeah.
But eventually, if you have to settle down somewhere where it's just snow all around you, it's like, dude, what am I going to do? What
And
am I going to play? Where am I going to walk? So things are difficult.
That's absolutely true. So I was living with my family in Murree for 2 years straight. My dad was posted there.
Okay.
And it sort of did get depressing because everywhere it was white, and we could not have any winter or summer games at all. So I think I do get your point.
Exactly. So that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. But with that, let's get started with what we are talking about today. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the previous week, I think that we have set the theme right as well, where we have been actually calling over on all those women who actually represent different walks of life. But now today, ladies and gentlemen, we have actually been joined by somebody who both of them happen to be, one of them happened to be the member of the national football team as well, but there are certain issues which we'll be discussing with her too as well. And then there's this junior champion as well who actually went to Dubai to actually participate in the Australian Football League as well. And then there are certain other things which she has done as well. So they are over here in the studios with us. We'll be sharing their stories with you, and we want everybody to take a lot of inspiration from these ladies, because not just that they're playing, but they're actually enabling other women, other ladies, other girls to have actually participated in sports. And
Training
I think
them as
that's
well.
great too as well. So on my right hand side, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, Shiza, who's with us today?
Well, on my right-hand side, since you've mentioned already, we have been joined by someone who happens to now be a coach because she has learned football and played so good as well. She has opened a football club in Chitral as well.
Yes.
She is none other than Karishma. Ali, hello, welcome to the show. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu
How are you
for
doing?
having me. I'm good, thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. And alongside Karishma, ladies and gentlemen, she's been on the show earlier too as well. I think last time when they came over the show, they were here to celebrate the title which they won probably, or whatever matches they were participating in. But we'll definitely continue from there onward. She's definitely one of the very most prestigious members of our national football team as well, ladies and gentlemen. She's none other than Miss Abia Haider. Hello, assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Assalamualaikum, I'm all good. Thank you for
Walaikum
having
assalam.
me here.
Thank you very much for joining us. And ladies and gentlemen, one thing which was very surprising for me, so I asked Abia that, for how long have you been playing? And she said that, I've been playing for more than 10 or 11 years.
Yeah.
And then, so I never wanted to do that, but I still, because they're kids, when you look at them, you know that they're kids. So I asked her how old she was, and then she said that, she was 22 or 23. And then I was like, so have you been playing football for the last 10 years, and for a decade? And she said, yes.
That's so inspirational to begin with,
It
right?
is inspirational. So Abiha, how did all of this happen? How did you get into football in the first place?
I guess the credit goes to my mom, first of all, because she saw that enthusiasm in me while back when I was, I guess, 10, 11,
Okay.
something. Because I used to play sports at my school level, and I used to excel in all of them, be it cricket, basketball, whatever sport. I used to win them.
Okay.
So she saw the passion, the spark in me, and she talked to my dad, and she was like, she has so much passion for sports, so let's give her a proper platform where she can actually exercise her energy.
Yeah.
So back in 2009, I guess, they took me to these trials happening in Jinnah Sports Complex, Islamabad, and they were making their team for the National Football Championship.
Okay.
I was 12 back then. I got involved in the trials. The coach came to my parents, and I wasn't interested, first of all, to go and participate in the football. I just went there for the sake of my parents
Right.
and for their happiness, because they wanted to take me. But when the coach came towards my parents, and he was like, she knew half of the game, and we'll coach her towards the best of our ability. And from now onwards, she will be part of the Islamabad football team.
Wow.
Wow.
So from there, the journey started, and now 2019, the journey is still on.
Wow.
Wow,
Been a long
congratulations on that. It sounds almost very dramatic, To be good at something that you're doing for the first time, it's absolutely brilliant. But Karishma, to begin with you, well, this is going to be a little stereotypical towards, well, me. So if you had to ask...
No. You'll have to let me know about that.
Well, if you had to ask me, I am so bad at even FIFA, the video game, right? If you had to ask me to name at least
A
10
lot of
football
people
players...
are. I know a lot of my friends, who
Really?
lose to me. Yes.
Oh, thank God. so if you had to ask me to name at least 10 football players, I cannot. But when was it that you sort of realized that I do have an knack towards football, I love it, I know how to play it, and this is where I should go forward with?
So I get a lot, I ask this question a lot because I'm from Chitral, and people, women over there are not into, they are into sporting activities, but they're not encouraged because of the situation over there, and the male
Environment, probably.
dominance, the environment overall. And but I started loving football because I would watch football with my dad, and it's actually because of him. He's a big football fan himself.
Okay.
So he would make me sit, late night and make me watch the World Cup I remember back in 2006. I watched every match with him, and I think ever since then I just started loving football. And I was as a kid, like, I knew that I was more of an athletic, athlete.
I think that's great. But Shiza, before we move on, I think that you've given me an interesting cue over here. So I'm going to name 5 football players, and then you're going to name 5 football players.
Okay, but let me go first.
No.
But
I'll
let me go first.
Ronaldo, Messi,
No way!
Ronaldinho, and then Neymar, and then Cantona, and there are a lot of them. Ibrahimovic. Okay, so I've said 6. Go ahead.
Okay, well, there is Hazard.
There's Hazard too
Can you
as
help
well.
her out? Can you help her out?
Yes,
you can.
Ronaldinho, and please help me
Ronaldinho,
out.
I've done
Hey,
it.
Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Kaká,
Ronaldo and
Brazil.
Ronaldinho.
Kaka,
both.
Fabregas,
Kaká,
Fabregas, yes,
yes.
absolutely.
David Villa,
Got
Yeah.
them. Hey, love it.
Mbappe.
And we forgot Beckham too as well, ladies.
course,
Even though
yeah.
he's not playing right now, but he's a person with golden DNA. So,
Also,
that's-
yeah,
and
exactly.
I think most girls, like, if they name football players, they name Ronaldo and Beckham. First.
Yeah.
I was expecting that from you.
Oh,
Yeah, and which is
Totally
why that
forgot.
I'm actually going to ask you both, who are your favorite players around the globe? I know that it's difficult to ask and difficult to answer, but then still, if you have to pick a few people from football teams and clubs, who would you pick?
Oh, I
think-
also know Mo Salah. Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah, of course, you should. I think Messi is, of course, definitely my favorite, and everyone around me knows that I'm a big, big Messi fan.
Really?
And I started supporting Barcelona, his team, because of, Messi. But yeah, I love Messi. I love him as a player. I think he's a perfect player.
Yeah,
And
and
did
he's
you learn
very
a lot
humble. He's very
He's very
modest.
humble, yeah,
you know.
yeah,
He
he
doesn't
is.
push around. You know, he doesn't
And he
foul
has
a lot.
the natural
Exactly.
skills, with
Yeah.
him.
But you know what other players do to Messi is something which I do not want to happen to Messi too as well. You know, they'll just probably they just play with him. You know, I
Wouldn't
don't
know
know.
any of this
You know, they use him like a doll. You know, so he's probably on the ground all this time. You know,
Yeah.
rolling around and whatnot. But now continuing with where we left last time when you actually joined us, I've seen that lately there are no matches happening with the national football team as well. Do you think that there are problems within the federation or there are other problems? How are things at that level?
I guess for that, FIFA has a set rules, set criteria which works around the globe, that no third authority, no second body, can interfere in a federation,
Okay.
in the local government, in that local country, because every federation is directly run by FIFA and it comes directly under the statute given by the FIFA.
Okay.
So that was the problem happened in Pakistan back in 2015. The third sources in Pakistan started getting into the football federation because they wanted to probably occupy the office or something, and the court cases prolonged. There was a ban by FIFA in 2016. Then in 2018 they lifted the ban. Last year the men team toured a lot. We had our national championship after 3 years. The under 15 boys team toured and they were the gold medalist of the SAF Cup. That was a
Yeah.
very big achievement.
Gold or silver?
Silver, I guess, yeah, silver.
Okay.
And that was a very big achievement because after a gap of 4 years, the team started playing that extraordinary on the world level. But then again, of course, this is Pakistan. The third sources came back. The federation got all the work in the federation intercepted, and there comes a ban again.
And it's not only about women's football in Pakistan. It's
Everyone is getting affected by that. Even
Absolutely.
the young generation, the young blood who right now has the most golden chance to prepare themselves, because football isn't a game that you can learn in weeks or months. You need to spend your years on years in
Definitely,
the ground,
definitely.
which I guess person like me have actually done. Playing football back when I was 10 and till now, this isn't something easy. But then right now when we can actually go and compete on international levels in many areas, we just don't
we
have
do
the
not
chance
have
to do
the
that.
option. Okay.
Right, okay, that makes perfect sense. But Karishma, coming back to you, tell us about AFL. Anna Berry told me that you are now coaching girls in Chitral to play football. First of all, I'm so sorry, how did you mobilize them to get out on the grounds and play? And second, how is it going for you as a teacher? Do you love it?
I love it. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I remember when I started telling people that I'm going to start doing this in Chitral, because I knew I had talked to girls and I knew that they
were
have the
willing.
passion. They they're willing to participate, and they're willing to play football. And I think it's very important to it mentally and physically both empowers young
Right,
girls
right.
at their age. And so when I first told people, a lot of people, thought that it was, almost impossible to do something like that in Chitral because it had
Right.
never happened before. So I said, okay, fine, I'll challenge. If I were the first athlete from Chitral, if the female athlete, I can also, build a whole team with me.
Definitely,
So
why not?
I went back last year and I gathered these girls. I was really scared at first, to be honest. I was like, maybe these girls, they would be scared, they would not come out, and they wouldn't be willing to participate.
Right.
But when I started, I print these forms for participants and I gave out to them. It was really funny because these girls, they started photocopying these forms so that more
So
girls
many
could
of them were
participate.
interested.
Yeah,
Wow.
I only had 30 or something, but then I later found out that there were like 60 girls who were willing to come,
wow.
and that was really amazing for me, and that was really powerful. And I feel like I'll keep working because these girls, regardless of being from these societies, and and they're still willing to come out and play.
Right.
So I'll do anything for them. I had so much fun coaching them. They're amazing, and I remember that here, of course, we have all the facilities and everything, and I think we take it for granted. We don't play more often. Those girls, they would walk for 2 to 3 hours on foot every day just to reach these the venue to play sports. So
I think that's great, and may Allah actually put more and more blessings into it as well, and
Thank
may
you.
more and more people come and join you for this cause too as well. But let's talk about your journey. You know, so your father was a football fan. You started playing yourself, but what kind of training facilities do we have over here? What kind of coaches do we have over here? In which areas do we really need to improve? Let's do it.
I think Pakistan has, amazing talent when it comes to football. I recently saw that, Atletico Madrid, I think, has started a football club in Lahore for small kids. Of course, they've done their research. They've seen, that there's talent, there's potential. That's why they've started. But yeah, I think there needs to be a lot of work done, from the federation and from the management. There is talent. There are people who are willing to play. For me, it hasn't been the same kind of journey that maybe many other girls have in football. For me, it's been really rough and really hard. Because of the place I come from. I mean, there are amazing people from my hometown. Not that I want to say that everyone is the same, but of course there are these religious extremists that they don't like and they don't allow girls. So when I first started, I used to face a lot of issues. I used to get threats and get weird messages, and people would post about me on Facebook and start cursing me and things like that. But that would get to me at first because of course I back then I was young, and I'd been introduced to this kind of situation for the first time. So I was really worried and I was scared, and I thought of maybe stop playing football. But then I talked to my parents, and I think it's really important to have supportive parents. My parents have been very supportive, and they told me that this is your passion, you have opted for this, and if you give up right now, there's so many girls back in Chitra who look up to you, and they're going to give up. And if you keep fighting now, they will follow your footsteps.
So I think this is the best time that we actually talk about the AFL, where you actually participated, you went to Dubai, how did all of that happen? Let us know.
It was Australia.
Yeah,
AFL.
AFL.
Okay.
So it's AFL stands for Australian Football League, and they have their international cup once a year. It's for different countries. They can participate in the AFL International Cup.
Well, are these
this
the
happened
from that?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
from
perfect.
there. So that's me. So last year, in 2017, they had their international cup, and we from Pakistan, we were the first girls team from any Muslim nation to participate. That was
Wow.
really amazing.
So
And
proud
it's-
of that.
Yeah, and it was of course our first time. It was it was quite hard, but we played and it was a lot of fun and we learned a lot.
And this
Wow.
wasn't the traditional football game.
Yeah,
It's slightly a bit, very much different from football. So for us, grasping this new game was a big challenge. But the way Pakistan team performed in Australia was something amazing. And even the people, the management from the other teams such as Canada, England, and all the major countries, they were actually coming up to us and they were so proud of our passion and determination which we showed on the ground over there.
Wow, wow,
Amazing,
that's
that
so
is.
great to hear, girls. And so good to have you over here as well, because as mentioned earlier in the show, for more than a week now, we've been calling girls from all sorts of, diverse fields in Pakistan, Pakistani women, of course, who are making us proud. And you two happen to be one of them as well, which is
Exactly.
absolutely good
Exactly.
to have you on the show.
So thank you very
coming
much for being with us, and for all those people who are out there, ladies and gentlemen, we're not getting done with the show right now, because now, finally, when Shiza's actually mentioned that, we've been calling in girls from different walks of life, let's have a boy for a change from a different walk of life who's a mixed martial art artist, and he's done great wonders too as well, because, ladies and gentlemen, that his brother is his coach and is the founder of Fight
wow.
Fortress himself, and they've been on different platforms, they've had several challenges, but no matter what happens, once a warrior, always a warrior. We're going for a short break, don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Good morning.
Stay tuned.
we are taking it for granted. We use it in abundance, whether we shave or we take a shower or we clean our clothes or we clean our cars. The amount of water that we use is much, much more than is needed for that normal process. We do not understand that water slowly and steadily is becoming a commodity, a rare commodity for a country like Pakistan. By 2020, it might become so rare that just like South Africa, we might have to go with huge water bottles and be in queues to collect the water. Let's try to prevent what is happening in South Africa. Let's try to be more concerned citizens. Let's try to think of ourselves, think of our community, and think of Pakistan. Conserve water.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PTV Ball, you watching Ball this morning alongside Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Earlier today, ladies and gentlemen, we were joined by Karishma Ali and Abia Haider, who happen to be national football players, ladies and gentlemen, have participated and represented Pakistan outside Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, when you're going to represent Pakistan, that needs to be outside Pakistan too as well. But right now, you know, other than Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take you to Saudi Arabia, where after a complete year, ban on movies
Has been lifted.
Let's take a look at this story.
Good
I
news.
like it. So, ladies and gentlemen, a year after the ban on cinemas was lifted, Saudi Arabia's port city of Jeddah opened its first cinema Monday evening, which took the total number of movie theaters in the country to 6. Wow, that's great. I wonder what kind of films. Okay. Oh.
All sorts.
Are they going to be translated in Arabic or English? I mean, this is something which I need to know. I don't know why, but I think that everybody can pretty much speak English over there.
I'm pretty sure. Well, this is exciting
Haifa
news
had.
early in the morning.
Yes, it is. It is. So, you know, for all the, probably, you know, I think that it is more exciting for people of Jeddah too as well, that, you know, they'll
Definitely.
finally have a place to go and watch a film. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, in films, whatever happens is not reality. And, you know, we have seen, for example, when we talk about films,
Action
where,
thrillers.
where we have seen Sylvester Stallone training, you know, probably Rocky, you know, I think is one of those films which talks about the hardships of a boxer too.
Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, whenever we talk about films, I think films are stories based on real life. And right
Yes.
now, we do have a character over here in the studios who truly deserve that, you know, a film is actually based on him too as well, and the
Wow.
journey of these brothers of what they have done. But for that, we have a smaller film to make you know or let you know that who's with us over here today, and we'll definitely be in conversation with this amazing sportsman we have over here in Pakistan, and we definitely own him.
So let's take a look at this.
Out of Punjab, Pakistan. Give it up for Kratos, Uloomi, Kareem.
We've seen some incredible performances from Team Fight Fortress tonight. What are you expecting to see now?
I'm expecting to see one of Pakistan's favorite fighting sons. A man in Uloomi, Kratos Kareem, that has really led the charge. You've seen this man all over.
He has. He wins by decision. He wins by striking. He wins by submission. Do you think he has one single area of exceptional strength, or is he strong everywhere?
He's incredibly well-rounded. However, he does have his majority of wins coming by way of TKO. So I would say that he favours the striking game and does have concussive knockout power. Interesting, he does have an incredible ground game as he's never been submitted in his professional career.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're very
I'm
proud.
stunned.
We're going to take pride in it too as well, that we've actually been joined by the UGB and VCL champion over here in the studios with us from Fight Fortress, Mr. Uloomi, Kareem, Shaheen. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Assalamu alaikum. I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for joining us. It's great to have you over here. And let's get the conversation started already. You know, we were looking at this video and you were taking your shirt and the referees were right in front of you. I mean, how do you feel when you know that once I'm going to be in there, somebody will be throwing punches at me at the speed of light?
Yeah.
So how do you feel before stepping into a ring?
I think it's all it all depends on how well you've prepared. It's not that very moment. That is the final moment when, I mean, we call that moment dancing under the lights.
Okay.
That's the moment to go dance, just to show everyone what you're made of, to show what you've worked on. The real work is done beforehand, you know, throughout the year. No vacations, no breaks, just keep constantly training, working on your physical attributes, mental strength, and you condition yourself well enough to go in there and perform up to your own standards, actually, the way you want to perform.
Yeah.
But then once you go into the arena and you hear people scream and the crowd, it's a different ball game. You do get nervous. If someone says that I don't get nervous, that's a lie.
Okay.
Everybody gets nervous, but it depends on how well you calm your nerves.
And I think that it's very important too as well. For example, if I am supposed to go to the gym and if it's raining outside and it's a little bit colder, you know, I'll push myself to a limit where I'll be like, okay, you know, if you want to achieve something in life, you need to go. But for people who are actually fighters, you know, and you're training every day, you've been thrown punches at, you know, because I've seen you training as well. Your brother is doing a great job, I think that, and he's self-taught as well. But other than that, what kind of motivation do you guys get when, for example, if you're down and you have to really boost up your own morale because you have to do it yourself?
Right.
So what kind of milestone can you achieve with that kind of morale too as well? Because I can only go to the gym, you know, nothing greater than that. But for fighters, you know, it's like an everyday struggle.
For us, it is pretty much the same thing, that the biggest struggle that you'll ever face is going to the gym.
Yeah.
Because once you're there, then the wheels just start rolling.
Yeah.
Reaching that point where you have to do what you actually have to do is, I think, what makes a person great. If you don't start at all, you won't end up there.
Yeah.
And I read this somewhere on social media that if you're going to miss 100% chance of the shot that you didn't take, so you have to give it a shot. Be it training, be it fighting, whatever it is, you know, and that is exactly how things actually work. You think about it, you give it a try, it works, and then it motivates you, and that is and once that thing motivates you, then you can't be stopped.
Wow.
Wow, and you know, since we are talking about your training and whatever goes down in the ring, I think we should also mention the victories because, of course, you work for it, right? Yeah. Your first was in 2012, of course, and then there was international was in 2014, the first victory, and then 2016.
Yes,
pick your favorite victory. For me, it has to be the 16 because arch rival India, of course.
I think all the victories are favorite.
And then explain how did it taste like?
Obviously, it was against India, but the victory wasn't sweet because it was against India.
Right.
Because me and my team...
Then you exchange flags too as well, right?
Exactly. That's what I was coming at. Me and my team, we always carry this message of peace through sports.
Okay.
One of my very old and prime sponsors, Diesel Diva, she has a hashtag Tribe Diesel Diva and peace through sports, and that's the message that we carry whenever we go fight.
Okay.
And when I was that was the perfect opportunity for me to tell everyone about peace through sports.
Yeah.
And when I won the fight, I was, of course, super happy. I was screaming at the top of my lungs. And then when the hype simmered down in my mind, then we exchanged flags, and that was to show that, you know, that day peace won.
Yeah.
And you have to, if you want to be an ambassador of peace, if you want to be a sportsman, then you have to act like a sportsman, and that is exactly what it's like.
Right.
And I think that there's a reason for that too as well, ladies and gentlemen, why he carries a message of peace, and that is that he actually happened to be one of the guitarists in Disbelief, which was one of the underground bands for, I think, I just forgot the name, what was the name of the vocalist, man? Shamir. Yeah, Shamir.
He came afterwards.
Yeah. So he came afterwards, and then he's a music producer too as well. So somebody who's an MMA fighter, he's a band member of an underground band, and then he's a music producer. So what kind of a collaboration is that within your own personality traits? You know, where you For example, then there's music, and then you producing music, and then you coming up as an MMA fighter, you know. So how does all of this gel in?
Basically, I was the bassist and the backing vocalist.
Okay.
And the band's guitarist, Fahad, he was the one who brought me in the band, and he taught me most of the music.
Okay.
Like, I'd say 85 to 90% of whatever I know is his knowledge.
Wow.
And I would assist him in the studio, and there was not a single session where he would do stuff alone because I was the helping hand. And so from there, I mean, being on the stage gave me that confidence that I could be in front of so many people.
Yeah.
You know, there are people who have come to watch you, no matter what you do. They've paid for a ticket, and they've come there to watch you perform, be it good or bad. So it just had to be, you know, it was natural for me.
Okay.
And I always knew that I'm not meant to do a 9 to 5
Yeah,
desk
but
job.
this is what I wanted to ask. You know, the sole reason why I've asked you this question is that, so are you what you wanted to be a musician and then you converted into an MMA fighter, or do you still like music, or want to continue with MMA as well? So what did you give up on this journey of yours?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people actually put it this way, you know, poor guy must have had a heartbreak, that's why he went into fighting and all that. But it's none of that, I can assure you.
So we're not like people, you know.
No. This is the thing. Somebody asked my coach that, how long does it take for a normal person to become a fighter? And my coach replied very beautifully, said a normal person cannot become a fighter.
Wow.
So
But that's true, right?
Exactly, it is true. So we believe that we are not normal human beings. We are something, any athlete, whoever's doing something extraordinary, you're not normal human being.
Exactly.
So coming back to the question, I had to give up on my band. You know, I started mixed martial arts and the music career at the same time. And the same question was thrown at me at the same day by both the parties, that, you know, we need to kick things up a notch for the band and fighting, so you have to choose between.
Which is why, you know, what we have done is that we've actually taken a few pictures out of yours as well, and then you're going to let us know what exactly was happening within this picture. Let's do that.
That's
Play.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so it's a video.
Yeah, this one is...
And then, you know, at the same time, you know, while we're watching this video too as well, because from the last 6 months or 8 months, I happened to know, you know, we were in conversation as well, that there was these competitions which are coming up. But in Pakistan, unfortunately, not many brands are actually promoting this sport as well. So what kind of challenges do you face? And then in days to come, what would you like to see for the brands to actually do for the sport itself over here in Pakistan?
You see, even you can see in the video that a channel's actually sponsoring this. And that's the only thing that happened to this sport, that just one TV channel endorsed this sport. We need more companies, more people to step in to promote the sport. Any sport, basically. I mean, we've been promoting a lot of cricket these days for a very long time. But the thing is that if the basic needs are not met for any sport, it's not going to grow. Same is the case with MMA. The fighters don't get any sponsorship. Most of the fighters are lower class people.
Okay.
I mean, we have a fighter who is, you know, who is specially able with one leg, and he works in a government institution, and he is a gardener there. We have another guy who, both of them are you know, top class athletes, and they fought in the same card as I did in Brave, and he's not doing anything. He had to quit his studies, and he's a really good athlete. So the basic problem is, let me put it short and simple, money, the sponsorship, capital. There's no investment in it. These guys need sponsorships to go to camps, to train. Well, we do actually, to go to a camp, train, do good, and then win fights, come back, tell people that, you know, this is the people who sponsored me, and then basically advertise them. So this is how it works in mixed martial arts.
All right. But towards the end, you know, before we wrap up this segment too as well, you know, so you have obviously put it out very well as well. And I think people who are out there really need to put their heads to this too as well. There are other sports as well, and people are excelling in it. For example, earlier when we were joined by Abia and Karishma, you know, so that's what they were talking about, that, you know, that there are internal problems within the federation. And I think for people who actually sit within the federation and not the people who've been in on the field or on the ground as well, I think those are those people only who think that they've got the authority and that they can malign and they can do whatever they want to do, or probably they can favor someone. You know, please do not do that. Even when early in the morning we come down and we sit on this couch, ladies and gentlemen, we make sure that not to lie to you. I think this is something which comes from your from the values you've got from your parents, I think. And for all those people who actually do all these kind of things, I pretty much tell us about their background. So, you know, you probably might have been from a cheaper background, but please do not imply that on all of those people who've struggled hard and who want to be something in life.
Absolutely. And you know, Shahzad, ever since I'm doing this show,
Sorry, I gave you my peace of mind.
yeah, it's been a few months. I've met rugby players over here, football players, of course, of male and female both.
You
And
see
now,
a lot of players, right?
right. And then fighters as well. But the same thing everyone says, you know, no other sport is getting attention as cricket is, which is very saddening to watch. But I really hope something better happens in the future for all of the players who are definitely making Pakistan proud.
Exactly. But which is why, you know, one last thing, and that is that, you know, for example, when I certainly do not know how many rounds are there in MMA and whatnot, but when finally you win, you know, at that very moment when you get to know that you've won and you already cannot breathe and you're injured and you're bruised, what kind of feelings do you go through all of a sudden? Because we have a video. First you let us know and then we're going to play that video.
Okay.
Basically, you forget everything. You just can't remember. The feeling of winning is so special that you don't feel all that pain. You don't realize
So
that
it's
what
all
just
gone.
happened. So it's all gone, and everything is just that one moment. You know.
Yeah.
That winning.
So that's
moment.
you, right?
Yeah, that's.
And he's telling you that you won.
Basically, this was.
Look at your eyes. Look at your eyes. Oh my God.
My eye was shut in the first round.
Yeah.
This fight I didn't win, but everyone was, you know, so happy because I made a dramatic comeback.
Wow.
In the first round, I got rocked and everybody thought I was done.
Wow.
But then I came back. I won the second round, and third round was close. So it was a very, very close fight.
Very
and
nice.
this
Okay.
is what earned me a lot of respect.
Very amazing. Very
Okay,
amazing.
great. So towards the end, very quickly, 5 years down the lane, where is Uloomi, Kareem?
Oh, that's a tough
Still,
one.
Still in Pakistan, representing Pakistan and an MMA
Definitely.
fighter. I think that's what it needs to be.
Definitely, yes.
So all the very best. Thank you very much, Uloomi, for being with us. It was lovely to have you.
Definitely.
But now, ladies and gentlemen, so what happens is whenever you're in the fight, and if you go back home, for example, I used to fight a lot in school. So my mom used to put haldi on me, you know,
Right.
turmeric.
And even
So-
mix it in with doodh. milk.
With milk, you know, because it actually makes your pain go away as
Right,
well. So this is what
immediately.
we're going to talk about with Lubna today, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. When you guys come back, we'll have a healthy expert over here on the show. Let's do that. Good
Stay
morning.
tuned.
Passion for polo will be the highest on the world's highest polo ground. Shandur invites visitors to experience a traditional polo tournament between the teams of Chitral and Gilgit. The tournament is held on Shandur Pass, the highest polo ground in the world, at 3,700 meters above sea level. The first time a polo tournament took place on the Shandur Pass was in 1936. It is a place unique and exotic in itself, surrounded by some of the most spectacular mountain scenery in the world. The event marks the annual rivalry between the teams of Chitral and Gilgit. The polo tournament has some added attractions for the visitors: trout fishing at the nearby streams and lakes, and a festival of folk dances and music of northern Pakistan.
Welcome back to World This Morning, ladies and gentlemen, with Shazad Khan and Shazza Hashmi. And right now, we are going to be in conversation with our nutritionist, our lifestyle coach as well, who is today treating us with something which happens to be a yellow tea. Let's find out. Hello, Lubna. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. So did you guys get a chance to sip this?
Well, I
beautiful
did.
latte?
It's not actually bad.
Yes. It looks like yellow and it's like, you know, what's going on in this drink.
Right.
But it's actually, look at that face.
No, it's
No,
honestly
it's different,
not.
but
it's like coconut milk.
It's not that bad. Okay, so basically what this is, and it's gaining a lot of popularity, is turmeric latte or golden milk that's known in Asia. So it's basically just milk made with turmeric and a lot of other good stuff that I will get to soon. But before we do that, I want to talk about turmeric. The turmeric that you guys know, I want to talk about the incredible benefits of it today. It's actually been mentioned in over 6,000 studies saying that it's the #1 healing herb in the planet right now. And it's even more effective than 20 drugs out there for muscle pain, arthritis, and everything. So you definitely want to find out the benefits that I'm going to be talking about today. So let's get to it. #1, anti-inflammation. So basically, turmeric has this active compound called curcumin. What curcumin basically does, it takes away inflammation in your joints, in your muscles. So I know Shazad here has muscle pain on his shoulder, so turmeric is actually really great for that. So if you are somebody who suffers from joint pain, arthritis, curcumin is basically your #1 go-to herb that you don't want to do. #2 that I want to talk about is balancing blood sugar. So if you are diabetic or if you have low energy levels and you're looking for that pick-me-up turmeric tea or anything with turmeric in it is excellent for you as well. Because of its high antioxidants in there, it will help you get that energy back and not give you any kind of energy spikes, and it's very low glycemic as well, so it's great for diabetics too. #3, it's antimicrobial. So now what I mean by that is that all the cosmetic industry is actually going crazy over turmeric right now. A lot of cosmetic creams, a lot of face masks are being used as with turmeric.
Right.
So what it basically does is that it boosts your skin health in the sense it gives you a lot of glow. And because it's antibacterial, it even takes away acne. So if you get a little bit of acne on your face, you can make a homemade mask at home with a little bit of honey, good honey, and a little bit of turmeric. Leave it on your face for about 5 minutes, and it will give you a very nice glow, take away all the bacteria that's on your face or your skin, and even get rid of acne. So you definitely want to try this
since
at
you're
home.
at skin, please address this as well. When you're using turmeric masks, the skin tends to get pale as well.
Yes.
For like
So-
2 days.
Yes, so basically that's when you're putting too much turmeric in
Okay,
it.
okay.
So it is said to stain your skin, so you have to be very careful with the amount you're putting in it. So if you're using 1 tablespoon of honey, you just want to use a pinch of turmeric
Oh,
because it's a
okay.
very
That's where I went
powerful
wrong.
powder. Yeah. So the fourth thing I want to mention is detoxification, which is my absolute favorite. So not only does it detoxify your liver, it also cleans up your arteries. So people that have high cholesterol or blood pressure issues, or if you feel like, you know, that your family has a history of heart disease, you definitely want to get on the bandwagon for turmeric because it will clean up your arteries, any plaque in there. It will detoxify your liver as well. So you definitely do want to try the turmeric latte or many different things that I'll be listing at the end of this. The last thing I do want to mention, and most interestingly, which is why it's gaining so much popularity, is that it treats obesity or does aid in fat loss. So what basically it does is that the curcumin, which is the active compound in it that's so powerful, suppresses the growth of fat cells. So that's how it helps obesity. And another amazing thing it does with the cellular functions is that it's used in a lot of cancerous medications. So what it does is that it stops the growth of cancer cells, it prevents them from growing, and reduces them as well. So it's excellent for that.
Yeah, thank you
How's
very
your
much
tea?
for all of that
You drank it
information.
all.
Yeah, because, you know, while you were talking,
It's healing, to be
and I
honest.
got to know that, you know, there are so many benefits
You're
of
like,
it, so
drink
I
this.
forgot about the taste. And even though that it tastes very amazing too as well. So for all those people who are out there who might think that, you know, haldi might not taste very great, but I think that you've done a great job. So I don't know how to make turmeric latte, but still it tastes
But
fine.
you know,
So
this is
quickly
where,
how I made
yeah,
this, sorry.
because it doesn't taste bad
It
at
doesn't
all.
taste
So
like
you must
turmeric
have-
at all. So here's how I
Right.
made it. So you add coconut milk, say 2 cups of coconut milk, 1 cup of water. You put pinch of turmeric, so maybe a teaspoon, like less than a teaspoon.
Okay.
This has cinnamon in it. Ginger powder in there.
Okay.
It has honey in there.
Wow.
It has a little bit of black pepper because black pepper aids the absorption of turmeric in your body.
Oh,
So even if
perfect.
you end up going and buying a supplement of turmeric, you want to make sure that it has a little bit of black pepper in it and it's a fermented type of turmeric. And if you are going to consume turmeric, make sure that you are not pregnant or you're not breastfeeding because it is a herb again. So you want to stay away from those things while you're expecting a baby. And if you are going to intake it, start from 500 mg and build your way up to 2,000. You don't want to go ahead with more than that. And so yeah, turmeric, ginger, honey, cinnamon, black pepper, coconut milk, water. And am I missing something? A little bit of vanilla essence.
And yeah, it needs to be on the stove too, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
So-
for 10 minutes. So you just got, not like high heat. So just like, you know, on the stove for 10 minutes, give it a little bit of boil, and that's all you need.
And I feel great, and I think it has given me energy more than coffee too.
It
well.
does.
Just
It
try
does.
that,
It
yeah.
really does. So if you are somebody who's
Yeah.
trying to kick your caffeine addiction, you can definitely try it. My husband right now is loving it because he's having a lot of gut issues. So if you have like, you know, stomach acid or even acidity or any kind of burns in your stomach whenever you eat, you can try this tea after a meal or before a meal, and it will definitely aid with that as well.
Amazing that is.
Wow,
Thank you very
so
much.
much
Thank
for
you
this
very much for
information.
saying that. It was lovely to have you over here, like
Always
just
a
like
pleasure.
always. So for all those people who are out there, if there are any questions for me, Shiza, and Lubna, ladies and gentlemen, you can definitely write to us on our page. Well, this morning on Facebook, on Twitter it is,
Well, this morning without a G.
on Daily Motion and YouTube.
Well, this morning,
And this fabulous repeat is going to be
5
out
past 11 p.m.
tonight. Till the next time, 1, 2, 3.
Good morning.
Thank you.